Quick look at the last stream, and I don't know what happened with StreamYard, but it was looking kind of janky. It was looking kind of weird. I don't know what happened with StreamYard. They didn't put my profile picture up there. They didn't put any of my background graphics up there. The banners were gray. It was really weird. So let me know if everything looks how it normally does. And you know what's crazy? It was just like that time my mic was messed up, man. Y'all ain't even tell me. I'm glad that y'all love the content that much, that you are so entrenched in the storytelling and the articulation of your boy, that you didn't even let me know that it was looking like we was broadcasting live from the hood, even though we're actually broadcasting live from the hood. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody that's in the room already. If you guys can hear me, give me a 1. If you cannot hear me, I guess I won't hear anything from you. Got my man Al McCowan in the building. We got Mr. Knock in the building. We live on table 7. The resident troll has returned. You know what I'm saying? Everybody drop some radiation emojis for the resident troll, because you know we're probably gonna flame him a couple times tonight anyway. You know what I'm saying? We got Janesta up in here. We got Carlton Way in the building. Got my man Christopher Perkins in the house. We got Deneen in the building. We got Carla Lockhart in the building. We in here. We about to do the damn thing. Let's get it. My man Red Raven Rucker is in the building. B1 First is up in here. Black Ether is in the building. Man, we about to mess with people's souls like Ether. We about to mess with We Live on the Table 7 like Ether. We about to mess with We Live on the Table 7 like Ether. You know what I'm saying? Burner to the side of your dome. Come out of my throne. Write them reparations checks and get the hell on. You know what I'm saying? We got Mike Jefferson in the building. What's good with it, Mike Jeff? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some things that the police have been up to lately, because we know they protect and serve, some more than others. Shout out to Officer Megan Hall. But unfortunately, in these situations that we're going to be talking about tonight, nobody was enjoying the situations the way that Tennessee precinct that was lucky enough to have the employee of the millennium, Megan Hall, working there. This was some rough stuff. There was a guy who got his face mashed into the snow for no damn reason. We got to check on that. And then a BLERD that worked for the Wall Street Journal ended up finding out the hard way in Arizona that the world is correct. And you know how those world is correct lessons go. It's never very fun the first time. All right. So this actually took place in Cleveland. And what ended up happening was a police officer packed snow into this guy's mouth during an arrest. My question for you guys is, did you guys hear about this? If you guys heard about this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not hear about it, give me a thumbs down. But as you guys can see, the person, the newscaster, shout out to this guy here, who's actually going to be telling the story, is already starting off the content with the same facial expression that the guy probably had while he was getting teabagged with snowballs, which is no fun. Now, I guarantee you Officer Megan Hall would have enjoyed that, but I don't think that these people did. So let's take a listen.
A federal civil rights lawsuit has now been filed against the city of Akron and 7 current and former members of its police force in response to the 2021 arrest of Charles Hicks II.
Oh, man, this went down in AK Rowdy, Northside Summit County, Akron, the home of Black Light Revelations and the home of LeBron James. Be going down in Akron, man. It goes down in Akron.
Police body camera video shows former officer John Turner packing snow into the face of Hicks 3 times during the arrest.
It was a citizen who was treated
Shout
less
out to my
than
man
human.
Torian Raines.
He was
Shout out
treated
to
like an animal.
Tasha.
His rights were violated.
The city of Akron and its police department maintain the internal investigation into this incident was handled properly. But News 5 investigator Joe Paganakis reports this.
So here, now let me ask you guys a question. Oh, it goes down in Akron, which is crazy because I don't know what the police officers be doing because it's so bad here. They never solve any murders. They never solve any crimes. Literally everybody here is just in jail or either got a warrant out for some kind of speculation. So it's not like they're solving crimes out here because nobody ever goes to jail for deleting people. So I don't even know who these people are. Like when that situation took place where that guy got shot all those times, I was surprised that they even had pulled somebody over because they don't even pull people over in Akron. I'm telling you, the police don't do anything except for drive up and down the street all day. They don't do nothing. They possibly might rob trap houses and then sell the product back to the people on the street, but that's about it. They don't do anything. You know what I'm saying? The traffic lights catch you running a red light, or, you know, they got the little electronic cameras that catch you speeding. They'll send you a ticket, but they're not out here chasing people down. So I mean, this is anytime I hear about these police encounters in Akron, it always makes sense why it's somebody that's not a criminal, because they don't fight crime here. Like the crime just runs rampant and they don't really approach people all like that unless there's something crazy going on, like unless they're going to in an emergency to give the EMS escort. Other than that, they don't do anything. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? This is wild. You know what I'm saying?
The 10-count lawsuit claims Hicks had his constitutional rights violated during that arrest.
Get on my knees. Come on, listen to me.
Akron police body cam video of the February 7th, 2021 arrest of 28-year-old Charles Hicks II. Police responding to a call of suspected domestic violence.
A call of domestic violence. Man, that's crazy. We don't have any body cam or dash cam videos for the Dana White domestic violence, do we? Oop. I think we have finally broken We Live on Table 7's spirit. Because We Live on Table 7 has been plebiscite babbling nothing but truth since he came in here. He says the Mayo cop has failed society. This is a first, ladies and gentlemen, so brace yourself. If you agree with We Live on Table 7, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Seen with his hands up over his head, but seconds later, Hicks heard gasping for air as police body cam video shows Akron officer John Turner.
Now, what is that guy's name that was in the street naked in Rochester, New York, and the police officers pushed his face into the concrete until he died? I know somebody knows his name. I did a couple videos on him. I can't think of his name, though. It was in Rochester, New York, and the police had him outside. They were responding to a mental health call, and he ended up dying as a result of the police pushing his face into the concrete. Do you guys remember that? Prude, yeah. What was the first name, Carla? Pruitt. It was something Pruitt. You're right. This reminds me of that case. I mean, why are they doing this right here? There's no justification for this. You know what I'm saying? And the question is, how is this not a national story? This is just now the follow-up for this. You know what I'm saying?
Hicks seen with his hands up over his head, but seconds later, Hicks heard gasping for air as police body cam video shows Akron officer John Turner packing 3 handfuls of snow into Hicks' nose and mouth while Hicks was down on the ground.
The excessive use of
So now here's the question. Where in the police academy do you learn that that's appropriate protocol? How do you justify this? Where is Tucker Carlson's commentary on this? Where's Laura Ingram's commentary on this? Where is Sean Hannity's commentary on this? Sean Hannity is busy getting lit up by OnlyFans model Lauren Bobart. So he might be busy. But aside from Hannity, let's go back to Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham. Here's an even better question. Where is NBC? Where is CNN? Where is CBS? Where is ABC? Shout out to my man DJ Elmo. Super facts. If you guys agree with Deneen, give me a thumbs up. I think we're onto something here. Deneen says they push these kind of stories around election time. Otherwise, it's crickets. And they use these kind of these stories to say, hey, if you vote for us, we'll protect you from this kind of stuff. Really? Well, here's my question. If that's the case, then why is it that this kind of stuff is always happening in Democrat cities? And why is it that under Democratic presidents, police killing black people is always the highest? Seems like they work in some kind of magic.
force in violation of my client's constitutional rights.
In response, Hicks attorney Eddie Siplin filed this civil lawsuit in federal court on January 2nd against the city of Akron and 7 current and former members of the Akron Police Department. Siplin says the lawsuit was filed after he says the city of Akron incorrectly allowed Turner to resign during the internal investigation into his use of force and failed to continue to pursue criminal charges against Turner.
So now this is a question for somebody like Torian. Why is it that when it comes to these internal investigations, quote unquote, it's always stated that the internal affairs investigation went as planned without issue? Here's another question. Have we ever heard of an internal affairs investigation going bad? And you mean to tell me that these internal affairs investigations have a 100% accuracy rating? There's never been any hiccups or issues during an internal affairs investigation? Really? That's a hell of a statistic. Man, they really have some high quality standards, don't they? How does that work? Exactly. I appreciate you, Christopher. Now, here's another question for you. Why is it that the news doesn't ever point to the pattern of when it comes to this kind of police on civilian violence? Why don't they ever keep statistics of how many of these people are allowed to resign without incident, or how many of these people go off on administrative leave and continue to maintain a taxpayer funded paycheck while this is being investigated by their buddies at internal affairs? The news media never puts the focus on that. They never ask that question. I'm going to ask you guys that question. Since they don't want to ask that question, I'm going to ask you guys that question. Why do they do that? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, make sure you guys share the video out. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon twice. And also, if you're not subscribed to my backup channels, take a moment, go down the line, make sure you subscribe to all my backup channels.
If it were you or I, we quit our jobs. That's not going to stop the criminal investigation.
We disrespected a citizen, and for that I apologize.
The case had Akron Mayor Dan Horrigan apologizing for Turner's actions, but Turner told the city of Akron he resigned for personal reasons. And even though Acting Police Chief Mike Capers admitted the use of snow is not trained by the Akron Police Department, Capers maintained it was Hicks who escalated the physical nature of his arrest.
Now, here's my question. Hicks may have escalated the nature of the arrest, but where in the handbook or where in the academy training does it say that a suspect escalation protocol is to stuff snow in the nose and mouth of the suspect once the suspect is detained on the ground? Can anybody tell me the page number or the lesson number where that is what is trained as a response to an escalation? That's the question. Yeah, I agree, Deneen. That is extremely hard to watch because we already saw somebody die live on camera by this exact same method. I think what was his name? I know his last name was Pruitt. Shout out to Carla. I can't think of the first name. And I agree, Janesta. The police officers should police the communities that they live in. And I guarantee you that many of these Akron police officers are not from Akron. There are a lot that are from Akron, but these janky ones, I would be willing to put money on it that they probably don't live in Akron. They probably live in the quote unquote surrounding areas. You know what I'm saying?
Maintained it was Hicks who escalated the physical nature of his arrest.
Failed to comply verbally and physically with the officer's attempts to take him into custody.
Capers also defended the results of his department's internal investigation.
So now here's my question. Even if he fails to comply, where does it say that as a response to the failure to compliance, you put snow down his mouth and nose? If that's not something that can be found in the police handbook, which we already know it's not, because the mayor already said those aren't part of the police protocols, then it doesn't matter. They need to stop making up excuses. You're wrong, and you need to pay whatever settlement there is. And that police officer, as well as the chief of police and the sergeant who were involved in that case, need to be removed from their position of duty and also not be allowed to be hired as police officers or anything similar to that ever again anywhere in the United States, if you ask me.
The bottom line, the APD internal investigation process does work.
The city of Akron issued a short statement in response to the federal lawsuit saying the city typically does not comment on pending litigation, so we won't be providing comment or doing interviews at this time.
Now, here's my question, and I want to know this as an honest answer from everybody in here. Does the police across all 50 states have the same template that they use anytime they get in trouble? Well, we just won't be commenting about it. And what's interesting about them not commenting about it is not only do they not comment about it, but the main and national news never follow up and ask any questions. So it substantiates them not questioning it because the mainstream media will just shove these stories under the rug. It's amazing how that machine works. But remember, that machine isn't actually there. This is just all in our head. We all just made it up because, I mean, we're all crazy. Duh. You know what I'm saying? Like Nas said, everybody crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Siplin says the 10-count lawsuit is also hoping to generate additional de-escalation training for the department and the officers involved in Hicks' arrest.
Decades after decades, if we trace back to how long this has been since these things were caught on camera like Rodney King until now, I don't know if the police are in the slow class or what, right? But even if you're in elementary school and you happen to be in the slow class and you ride the short bus, your classes still only last one school year. How many decades have police been saying we're going to work on de-escalation tactics, and yet we're living life on repeat? The same things keep happening. They keep happening. They keep happening. And they've started to happen so much so that it's almost like we don't even respond to these stories unless we respond to the stories that the mainstream media puts in our face and tells us to respond to. This is a regularly scheduled program. Seeing a black person getting messed up like this on the TV by a police officer. It's a regularly scheduled program for the PC population at large to turn around and say, I don't know anything about this situation, but the one thing that I do know about this situation is that the police are never guilty ever unless it's Ashley Babbitt that they harmed. How does that work? Does that make any sense whatsoever? It's just like, Malcolm X was exaggerating about fake news the entire time. But when Donald Trump said it, well, I mean, clearly the news is fake. Life on repeat. We see it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And we'll see it some more. I guarantee you by the end of the week, I might not be able to make a video about it, but something like this will probably happen again. Now, when it comes time for the 2024 elections, we need to press both political parties and ask them about stuff like this. The Democrats facilitate it, and the Republicans act as if it doesn't happen. You have two birds, two wings on the same bird operating in tandem to keep the system in flight. Super facts, Deneen. Matter of fact, I don't know if you guys been paying attention to some of the things going on in the mainstream media, but some of these people, they even take them in protective custody, in protective armor, in clothing. Janessa says the police officers always fear for their lives. Facts. Even civilians are now saying that. Carlton says you're going to see a lot of videos of black people being harmed in 2024. I hope people be listening to Professor Black Truth. I hope they get their power tools and not just have a power tool, know how to access it quickly and use it. Because you have to be able to protect yourself. If people want to live under the delusion that we're not in a constant state of war and that we can peacefully coexist, you have to at least be ready for if that coexistence possibly dramatically comes to an end. Shout out to Black Ether. Warehouses full of excuses. The great Neely Fuller Jr. Super facts. Super facts. Warehouses full of them. Sam's Club, Costco. You know what I'm saying? Full of excuses. Pallet after pallet. They have forklifts going up and down the aisle. Yeah, we need a crate of excuses on aisle 5, please. It never stops.
Now, some policy changes, and it may happen along with the passage of issue 10 with the Civilian Oversight Board.
And Attorney Siplin says the city of Akron now has 60 days to respond to the lawsuit in federal court. Siplin says if individual members of the Akron Police Department don't accept being served with the lawsuit, they would have only 21 days to respond. News 5 will continue to follow up on this developing story. Reporting here from Akron Police Headquarters, I'm News 5 investigator Joe Paganakis.
Meanwhile, the city of Akron continues to move forward with the creation of a permanent Citizens Police Oversight Board.
Now, here's my question. This is local politics, right? This is what TD always talks about, local politics. My question to you guys is, what do you all think of a citizen oversight board for the police? How do you all feel about that? How I feel about it is, it sounds good, but I need to know exactly how it works. And I need to know the checks and balances to make sure that it's actually citizens being chosen to be the auditors of the police department. I wouldn't be able to trust the police or city officials choosing these citizens who are supposed to be on this ethics oversight board. I would have an issue with that. You know what I'm saying? My man DJ Elmo says, least we forget the modern day American police force origin were as slave catchers. WS police just continuing their ancestors' legacy. Super facts. Adoso hit squads. Adoso mercenaries. You know what I'm saying? And that's big facts, Mike. I don't know if you watch Just Talking with TD and Rob. That's TD Hip Hop Media and my joint channel that we talk about news topics like this on. There was a live stream that we did, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, where we talked about in New York City. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Torian actually did a video about this as well, where Mayor Eric Adams said that now they're going to just be snatching people up off the street in New York that, quote unquote, appear to have mental illnesses. If that's not 1984 George Orwell, I don't know what is. I'll tell you what, if that's not 1984, then maybe the robotic police officers that they about to start installing on the West Coast, maybe that is. You know what I'm saying? Deneen said the city of Seattle put that into place. I don't know the mechanics or if it's still in place. Okay. In my opinion, it's like I said, it sounds good. But when these kind of things sound good, it's always important to do follow-up and also to see exactly how they work and to see exactly who the power players are and to see how they're chosen. You know what I'm saying?
Applications to be on the board are due by noon, January 24th. In addition to seeking a board that represents Akron's diversity, the city's looking for applicants who have law enforcement, criminal justice, and/or civil rights experience.
Now, see right there, if you ask me, if you the first type of people that they're trying to get are people with law enforcement experience, criminal justice experience, civil rights experience. These top three are automatically going to come in with biases. I want to get a civilian, like a random person who would be taping it if they happen to witness it. Not somebody that used to be a former cop, not somebody that used to be a sheriff, not somebody that was a DA, not somebody that was a prosecutor, not somebody that's a judge. They're going to be biased on the side of law enforcement. So if this is what they're recommending as the people that they want on the oversight board, already I'm looking at this kind of sideways. I'm looking at it sideways. You know what I'm saying?
Applicants from the faith-based community or those with a professional background in mental health services are welcome. City's also looking for applicants affiliated with organizations representing the economically disadvantaged and underserved Akron communities.
So you already know what that means. You already know what that means. So again, pay very close attention, guys, to how you didn't know about that, right? And I believe that Deneen was very accurate in what she said, as far as when it comes to these kind of situations, they only put these kind of things in your face during the election time to use this to try to get votes. So now, knowing that, right? Knowing that, we know that that's a Democrat strategy. So now when the Democrats start putting these police cases of police violence and different things like that in our face, I'm not saying to not pay attention to it, but pay attention to the motive. And when they start doing that, of course, always advocate for the side of good, but also press up against the Democrats and say, okay, I see you showing us this, but are you going to tell us about the other 500 cases that happened before election time? and then name off a list of a bunch of people that the Democrats didn't happen to advocate for while they're running around here giving everybody else hate crime legislation. And they can't even pass qualified immunity for us or look into stopping police from being allowed to use excitable delirium as an excuse to kill. I've talked about excitable delirium before. Shout out to DJ Elmo and shout out to Val and Carla. I'm sure they all can tell you guys in the comment section what excitable delirium is. But real quick, how many people know what excitable delirium is? If you guys know what excitable delirium is, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If it's something that you've never heard of, give me a thumbs down. And if DJ Elmo or Carla or Val is in here and y'all want to break it down in the comment section for people about what excitable delirium is, by all means, please do. Now, here's my question. How many of you guys heard about this BLERD, this geek that was in Arizona, and he was just detained while doing his job? Now, here's the question. How do you justify that? Somebody will look at this last video that we watched, and they'll say, well, you know, Internal Affairs said that he was resisting. So, I mean, even though there's no protocol to stuff snow down somebody's throat, I mean, you know, it was warranted. I mean, I wouldn't even really have a problem with it if he killed the guy. I mean, after all, he was resisting. Okay, by that logic, cretin logic, whatever, we've heard that before. What about when you're just doing your job and the police come and detain you? Now, this took place recently in Arizona, and my question for everybody that's watching is, did you hear about the journalist that works for the Wall Street Journal who was detained while doing his job outside of Chase Bank? And here's my question. Chase Bank hasn't come out and said, we disagree with the violence that took place on our property. The same way that Chase Bank stopped doing business with Kanye West, if Chase Bank is going to be a stomping ground for WS violence against working black people, I think people need to rethink their doing business with Chase. I think that that's perfectly logical. I think that's called the learning curve. Learning how the Chase Bank treats you. When Kanye West offended people, Chase Bank said that they're not going to work with Kanye. When Chase facilitates allowing a working black person to be harassed and the victim of a WS police hate crime on their property, I don't think it's in good favor to continue doing business with an institution that doesn't have anything to say about that kind of stuff. Do you guys?
New at 6, our ABC 15 investigators broke the story, now getting national and even international attention. A Phoenix officer handcuffing and detaining.
Now they said that this is getting national and international attention, but the question is national and international attention where? You guys all said that you didn't hear about it. So where's the international and national attention coming from? Let's start it over again. I want you guys to pay close attention.
New at 6, our ABC 15 investigators broke the story, now getting national and even international attention. A Phoenix officer handcuffing and detaining a Wall Street Journal reporter after interviewing people outside a bank. Police have not released body camera footage, but a bystander recorded.
Now, here's the question for you guys. Why have the police not released the body cam footage? Shout out to Kelly. What up with it, Kelly? I want to know you guys' answer. Why the police didn't release the body cam footage? Because anytime police don't release the body cam footage, the answer is always the same. Carlton Wade said he got that FBA fro. Yeah, super facts. You just look at him and tell he looked like his last name is Jenkins or Johnston or Williams or Jefferson. Because they doing some dirt. Well, we all know that. We know that that's a fact. They always doing dirt. But the reason why police don't release the body cam footage is because the police are the ones that determine when, if, and how much body cam footage is released. It's the police who determine that. So if they just decide to say, well, we're not releasing it, there's only some states where the Supreme Court of that state can force the police department to release the body cam footage. Only in some states, not in all 50 though. And basically what that translates to is what Tasha said, because they're white and they say so. Dana White and he say so. You know what I'm saying? So this guy was outside the bank interviewing people, doing his job. Last time I checked, interviewing was non-threatening. Maybe they thought that his fro was threatening. I don't know. But for whatever reason, they decided to detain him. Not a good decision.
Reported what happened on her own cell phone. And tonight, ABC 15 Chief Investigator Dave Biscobings got an exclusive interview with that woman, and her story raises even deeper questions, both with what police did that day and what they're claiming now.
I heard him say he was going to leave. This is ridiculous. He's a reporter, and I heard him say he was going to leave.
The voice you...
So now you can clearly tell that that's a white lady that's saying that. So this cop is not even listening to the white lady. The white lady's like, bruh, he didn't do anything wrong. He's just here doing his job, reporting, and he was going to leave. What are you doing? So this cop is clearly acting on his own, and clearly, as you can see, despite the fact that this was in Arizona, surprisingly, there was nobody complaining. So now what you have to ask yourself is, the police officer now can't turn around and blame this on the people around him, because clearly the people around him weren't feeling what he was doing. So now you got to ask yourself, what's going on with this cop? What's going on with this cop?
Dave Biscobings got an exclusive interview with that woman, and her story raises even deeper questions, both with what police did that day and what they're claiming now.
I heard him say he was going to leave. This is ridiculous. He's a reporter, and I heard him say he was going to leave.
The voice you hear is that of Caitlin Parody.
You know, I feel really strongly that no one should have been treated like that, and that...
So you guys... so you got Sandra Bullock back there like, hey, he said he's going to leave. Leave him alone. Leave the kid alone. He said he's going to leave.
And that, like I said, it was racist and also really concerning, given that, you know, he is a journalist.
You absolutely did not need to cuff him.
But before we get back to this recording, let's start from the beginning of what Caitlin saw.
And as I walked in, you know, Dion, who I didn't know was Dion at the time, was standing outside, and he identified himself as a reporter with the Wall Street Journal and asked me, you know, if I'd be interested in participating in a story. I asked him a little bit more about the story.
Now, before we dive deeper into this, I want to ask you guys a very serious question. If this officer was a member of Officer Megan Hall's precinct, do you think he would have had time to do this? Do you think he would have had time to do this? You see, that's why they get rid of good police officers like Megan Hall. Megan Hall would have had his ass busy. This wouldn't have went down. He'd have been able to do his job without getting detained, because Megan Hall would have had this guy detained in the damn locker room somewhere. But in the world that we live in, those good officers like Officer Megan Hall, who protect and overly serve, they're getting canned, while people like this get to keep their job. I'm just saying.
I didn't want to participate. You know, we had a perfectly cordial, nice interaction, and I went inside.
So he was very clear with you up front. You said it was cordial, no issue with you.
No, and I went inside, and when I got inside, I was like filling out my deposit form. before I
and pay very close attention, because even the media, and see, like a lot of this kind of stuff, it goes over our heads. It even goes over my head many times. A lot of times I have to watch this stuff a lot of times to decide how I'm going to talk about it in a live stream, because many of these subtle things will go right over our head. Pay very close attention to how they're profiling the victim. Yeah, he was behaving normally. Are you serious? I guarantee you that the police never intervened with a rude customer at the bank. So why do we have to get all of this justification? Like, we're going to have to double verify and double verify and double verify and double verify and double verify that this guy didn't do anything wrong. Think about that. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man DeAndre. Make sure you guys show DeAndre some love. Throw some radiation emojis in the chat for the $10 super chat. My man DeAndre says, "What up, Rob? I either missed the live or come in late. Either way, just something to keep the channel going, bro. The last few lives have been off the hook." I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. And you guys know everything that I get from YouTube, I reinvest it right back into the channel. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate it. Deneen says Megan is unintentionally helping protect black people. Super facts. That's the real Megan the Stallion. You know what I'm saying? That's the real Megan the Stallion. You know what I'm saying? Equipped with the WAP too. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to her for keeping bodies above ground and keeping the coroner's office empty. You know what I'm saying? Now, her office might have been, not so empty, but shout out to her for keeping the coroner's office empty.
walked up to the teller and I saw a police officer talking to the bank manager.
This is ridiculous. This is the most obscene thing I think I've ever seen.
That's why she started to get a bad feeling, one she said was confirmed when she got back outside.
What made you think like, hey, you know what? I'd better, go stand over there and capture this video?
It was just so egregious that they were handcuffing a reporter and that it happened at the speed of—
Listen, man. Hey, listen. Shout out to privilege. Shout out to privilege. Because she said that arrest was the most egregious thing that she's ever seen. Now, if you ask me, anytime the police harass and harm a black person, it's always horrible, right? It's always horrible. It's always a deplorable crime that needs to be punished to the fullest extent of the law. But homegirl just said that was the worst thing that she'd ever seen. So shout out to that Karen privilege, that she's been so privileged in her life that's the worst thing that she ever saw, and she did something immediately to step in. She said, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my God. Oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God. George, did you see that? You see the way they just handled that young man? This is horrible. We got to call somebody about this. Go call Jane's niece. She works over at the news. Maybe we can get this story taken care of. This is a nice neighborhood that we have, and we just can't have people being treated like this. Not outside the bank, for Christ's sake."
A reporter, and that it happened at the speed at which it happened.
Caitlin and Dion both believe it's likely that her recording kept him from being arrested. And in Officer Caleb Zimmerman's incident report, he wrote that Dion committed trespassing, that there was probable cause to arrest him. The officer also claimed bank employees told Dion to leave, something the reporter says is not true.
My husband's a journalist. He's also white, as am I. And in that moment, I just knew that he wouldn't be in handcuffs if things had gone the same way.
Her husband does not work for ABC 15 or the Wall Street Journal. Now, Caitlin's recording also raises additional concerns, like the officer threatening to arrest her.
Now, on a serious note, I don't know this lady, and you got to be real careful giving people props, because they'll do and say something like this and turn around and do something completely insane and upside down. And you know what I'm saying? You'll be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, good looking out. And then like 10 months later, some scandal comes out where she had a Confederate flag bandana on and was at a WS motorcycle party club and burning crosses, sliding up and down, burning crosses and doing all kind of crazy stuff. But aside from all of that being said, it's very rare that you hear a PC person be that blunt about the knowledge of the racial interactions that go on in the world. Like, I wonder what I wonder what the news people said when she just came on here and said, I'm married to a white man and he's a reporter, and I know if it was him outside of the bank, it wouldn't have went down like that. If you ask me, that's probably part of the reason why they're not floating this story around. Because if you get a bunch of white people saying the kind of stuff that she's saying, now you really have a problem. This right here is extremely bad for the narrative. This isn't somebody who, you know what I'm saying, she's in an interracial relationship, or, you know what I'm saying, none of that. This is a white lady married to a white man, and she said, my husband is a journalist and he's a white man. I know that this wouldn't have went down like that with him, and that's how I knew that this was wrong. That's rare to hear that. And I'm really shocked that the news didn't cut that part of the interview out. If they played this, I'm kind of curious as to what else she said that they cut out.
Wall Street Journal. Now, Caitlin's recording also raises additional concerns, like the officer threatening to arrest her.
I'm fine where I am. I'm not doing anything wrong.
You want to get arrested as well?
I think, like most people, I wasn't very clear on what my rights actually were. I knew it was important to record what was happening, regardless.
I heard him say he would leave, and he was literally not doing.
But check this out, though, right? How, like, and I don't know. I'm not about to say if she did this on purpose or not. But what I find interesting, right, is that she said, like most people, I'm not sure what my rights actually were. But in the sentence before that, she knew that her husband would have the right to not be treated that way. So now how does that work? You see what I'm saying?
Anything.
When backup arrived, another officer wrongly told her she had to be at least 8 feet back.
Why are you standing on his back like that?
I was standing here. He just walked up here. I was standing here.
Okay. You're going to stand back here at least 8 feet.
So now, again, I'm going to ask you guys an important question, and the answer to this question is going to be so easy that I guarantee you nobody will get it right. Yeah, I agree, Dorian. Super facts. If you guys agree with Dorian, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree 100%. That kind of stuff is something that it's the same thing as being a good parent. It's not something that should be applauded. It's just something that you have a duty to do. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, again, it's rare, but this is what should be going on all the time. You know what I'm saying? So now, what is it that we haven't learned yet? What information have they not told us about yet? We've learned all of this information, but what is it that we don't know the official answer of yet? Think about it. What's the most important thing that we should know that we don't know that they haven't mentioned yet? Super facts, DJ Elmo. DJ Elmo says her saying her husband wouldn't be treated like that means the police would have given him the benefit of the doubt due to his complexion, which also means that despite the fact that she doesn't know her quote unquote constitutional rights, she knows that right. You see how that works? How does that work? You know what I'm saying? What do you call that? Deneen says we don't know who called the police. That's one thing that we don't know. Janesta says we don't know what happened to the man. Mr. Knox says what was reported. All of those things that you guys said are true. So shouts out to each of you guys. Tasha says, do he really work at the Wall Street Journal? He might be like Tommy O. Martin. Brother might not actually have a job. He probably told the police officers, I work at the white building across the street from the black building. The officer said, this isn't an episode of Martin, sir. I'm going to need you to put your hands behind your back. They haven't told us what he got arrested for. All of this hoopla, more than halfway through the video, and we don't even know what they arrested him for. What is he getting arrested and charged with? And why don't we know? And if we don't know, do the police even know why they got him in handcuffs? They've literally not mentioned anything about why he was arrested. How crazy is that? DJ Elmo says the JP Morgan staff probably called the police.
Like the law states. There's no reason for you to stand like that next to him.
Well, I was
okay.
they're recording the conversation.
The video said that the police are detaining him for trespassing. Now, here's the question. Did he actually trespass?
Okay, I'm here. I do what you asked.
I'm out there literally doing my job. And
The reporter told us he filed a complaint and got a call weeks later saying the officer did
Shout out to
nothing wrong.
Shakira.
Caitlin told us she also filed one.
you actually also called in a complaint?
Yes, I called the Standards Bureau, but they called me back and told me that the investigation was closed, that they had found no wrongdoing, and that the officer had probable cause.
Now that contradicts statements from Phoenix. They claim it's under internal investigation and has been since November 28th. The problem, both the reporter and Caitlin say, they got calls telling them it was closed and nothing was wrong weeks after that.
Sounds a lot like Akron, doesn't it? That's that Karen energy, Deneen. She gonna tell the manager. She gonna get in touch with somebody's boss. But notice how internal affairs gave two different stories. Internal affairs gave two different stories on this. Yeah, facts, Mike. They find this vehicle. They'll know what to do. They sprinkle a little bit of crack in there. Do like Tyrone. Put a little peanut butter and crack sandwich somewhere. Oh, look what I found in your back seat. And they probably got some dirty urine too. So now the question that we have to ask that the mainstream media never asks is the internal affairs an outdated method to maintain ethical standards with the police department? Because for whatever reason, right? For whatever reason, whatever that reason may be, what it seems like is that every internal affairs department at every police department across the United States seems to always come with the exact same outcome for every investigation that they ever do. How is that possible? Has the internal affairs ever found anything wrong in these cases? And how closely tied to the active duty police officers are the employees of internal affairs? That's the question. Deneen says that the police are incapable of holding their colleagues accountable. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree. But for people that may disagree, one thing that we can't disagree on, one thing that we should all be in agreement on, is police of the same precinct policing other police is absolutely a conflict of interest. So if it's a conflict of interest, then why is that the standard procedure to see if there's any corruption going on? You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? Doesn't make too much sense, does it?
Was closed, that they had found no wrongdoing, and that the officer had probable cause.
Now, that contradicts statements from Phoenix. They claim it's under internal investigation and has been since November 28th. The problem, both the reporter and Caitlin say, they got calls telling them it was closed and nothing was wrong weeks after that. We asked Phoenix to explain the discrepancy, and this is what they just emailed us. Quote, the administrative process began on November 28th. The investigation remains open and was never closed.
Now, notice how they did that. How do you prove this is the question. How would you prove this statement? Let's just say you said, you know what? I don't believe you. Okay, now how do you go about proving that this 2-sentence response is true or false? Shatera said, oh, this is going on to cover up the orgy happening at the station. It probably is. Officer Hall keeping everybody busy. You know what I'm saying? The world is correct. Facts. Super facts. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell icon twice and subscribed, make sure that you guys do that. And please share the video out to your other social media.
I think there's a track record with the police department that this unfortunately falls in line with, a part of a pattern of really, really poor, really aggressive, and really racist policing.
I'm investigator Dave Biskobing, ABC 15, Arizona.
So there's that. All right. And one thing that I find interesting that we should be asking the quote unquote politicians who always have so much to say is it's not election time. So why is it that they're not talking about this? And you guys remember this went down in November. We're just now hearing about it. Tasha said, not the orgy. Oh, yeah, the orgy. You know what I'm saying? The office slip and slide. You know what I'm saying? Slip and slide records with Trick Daddy and Trina. You know what I'm saying? Phoenix police to probe detainment of Black Wall Street Journal reporter. Editor-in-chief Matt Murray is demanding that Phoenix police investigate the November 23rd incident that left Dion Rubin handcuffed in a police car. Now, here's what I find fascinating, right? This dude, I'm not trying to be funny. Don't nobody get offended at this. But if somebody told me this dude had a YouTube channel and he was a passport brother, I would totally believe it. He looked like one of them cats that be on them panels gender war battling all day. But he was battling for his freedom and found out the hard way that the world is correct. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, Janesta. Make sure you guys do exactly what Janesta is saying, and please get those likes up. Also, share the video out. Take a moment. Follow my backup channels and my other social media so you guys get all of the notifications because, YouTube likes to be funny. They're not as funny as I am, but they like to try. You know what I'm saying? They like to try. They give it a good shot, but they always miss. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, now here's another question. Why isn't the Wall Street Journal doing an expose on this? Deneen said, why do he look like a homeless person outside the bank? Nah, he don't look like no homeless person outside the bank. He looked like a YouTuber that'll tell you can find love in the Philippines. That's what he looked like. The Western women nowadays, these women are so masculine, and most of them, probably like 95% of them, all get flowed out. So if you want to find love, the best thing that I could tell you guys to do is first get a job at the post office. And while you're working there, get your passport and tour the world for many different reasons. One of which you might find somebody that accepts you for who you are. I'm just playing. You're not supposed to make fun of somebody else's trauma. And I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not minimizing this brother's situation. So please don't think that I am. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little bit, it's just a little bit of light jokey joke. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little bit of light jokey joke, you know? So now here it says the Wall Street Journal is urging Phoenix police to investigate after one of its black reporters was handcuffed and detained while working on an assignment on the city's north side. Now, what I'm curious about is if this guy is a Wall Street Journal reporter, did they give him a press package or the appropriate permits and paperwork that he would need to show in case of a situation like this? Andre said he looked like he finna be on the next season of 90 Day Fiance. Yeah, he might look like he about to be on the next season of 90 Day Fiance, but that's after he do his 90 days in the county, unless they get this taken care of. You know what I'm saying? So we hope he get this taken care of so he can find love. So now here it says Phoenix police officials told NBC News on Thursday that the department has agreed to a probe. That's probably what the Joker should have had, was a probe instead of Atomic Skull looking up his skirt. But anyway, after editor-in-chief Matt Murray wrote a letter dated December 7th to the Phoenix police chief Michael Sullivan, quote unquote, expressing concerns regarding the incident. On November 23rd, Dion Robwin, who covers finance for the Wall Street Journal, was detained in a police car while conducting interviews outside a Chase Bank. An officer accused the reporter of trespassing and took him into custody. So it hasn't said that anybody reported him. Yeah, love after lockup. You know what I'm saying? I had my little run-ins with the law. I was working a good job. Right after college, after my 13 years of college, I'd gotten a good 6-figure job at the Wall Street Journal, and I was reporting finance, talking about the racial wealth gap. And I was detained. And I would still be in jail to this day. But a passport princess with a cell phone was there at the scene, and she recorded everything. And that really helped me to be able to move things forward appropriately. Shout out to my man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man. Shout out to my man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the passport princess. You know what I'm saying? BLERD's getting a world is correct lesson. You know what I'm saying? They got to be ready too. We're deeply concerned that Wall Street Journal reporter Dion Rabowin was detained, handcuffed, and placed in the back of a police car while reporting, a Journal spokesperson said in a statement. No journalist should ever be detained simply for exercising their First Amendment rights. Now, the Wall Street Journal should tell Chase, if they don't put any pressure on the police department to do something about this, the Wall Street Journal might have to lighten its coverage on Chase's financial undertakings and their financial products. But that's not how that works. I'm not clowning his appearance, DJ Elmo. DJ Elmo said, why am I clowning the brother's appearance? We all don't look like Pookie and Ray Ray. Hey, listen, I ain't got no problems with that brother's appearance. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is that he looks like somebody on YouTube that might have a special message of how to find love in the Philippines. That's it. I'm not saying the brother is a bad looking brother. I'm not saying the brother's a good looking brother. I ain't saying nothing. I'm just saying, I seen this, I seen cats like that before. And shout out to him for doing his thing and having a 6-figure job. You know what I'm saying? That's just proof that all of us are potentially the victims of racist violence here in this tyranny known as the United States. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes you just gotta lighten up the situation. You look somebody little elbow, a little gut to the elbow. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I see what you doing there. You know what I'm saying? I see you, bro. You know what I'm saying? He put the Kevin Samuels suit on. You know what I'm saying? He got the plaid tie. You know what I'm saying? He cut the fro down for a minute, looking suave and professional for his interview. I ain't mad at the brother, man. I'm not mad at the brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at him at all. He representing. You know what I'm saying? Passport bros, the new pandemic. Yo, they out here committing AAPI date crimes, bro. And people mad about it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Just be careful. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Raboin was interviewing passersby for a story about savings accounts when a pair of employees walked up to him and asked him what he was doing and went back inside. He told ABC affiliates KNXV. So now we're getting to know what went on. There was some employees who came outside and said, "Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. What are you doing out there, buddy?" I have a microphone in my hand. I have a pass on that says my name and who I work for. I'm clearly interviewing people. I haven't really known anybody to rob a bank with a microphone. Don't worry, because this won't be the first. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. Clearly, these two employees felt like their life was threatened. You know what I'm saying? He said the employees did not ask him to leave, so they pulled some snake move on him. They went back in the bank and pressed the red button up under the desk. We'll show him. Soon, police officer Caleb Zimmerman, and we all know about them Zimmermans. They don't have a good track record, so this brother better be happy that he walked away with his life. Zimmermans be shooting folks after they attack you and then say that it was self-defense. That's what the Zimmerman legacy is here in the United States. You know what I'm saying? Approached and told Raboin that he was trespassing. He said, "I saw a police car pull up and the officer came out, walked into the branch, and after about 5 minutes came out and talked to me." Raboin recalled to KNXV, adding that he told the officer he did not know that the sidewalk was private property. He asked me what I was doing. I identified myself. I said, "I'm Dion Raboin. I'm a reporter for the Wall Street Journal. I'm working on a story." I told the people in the branch what was going on, and he said, "Well, you can't do that." Raboin then told KNXV that Zimmerman wouldn't look at his credentials. Now, isn't that something? Because we've seen where people right on videos wouldn't identify black female with PhDs or black women who are doctors. They wouldn't address them as their professional title. So this is something that we see all the time. So I'm not surprised by this either. The police officer wouldn't look at his credentials. So remember when I asked earlier, well, did they give him the appropriate identification information? You know what I'm saying? And clearly they did. Clearly they did. You know what I'm saying? So he had all the identification information. He had the proper credentials, and the officer wouldn't look at it. Shatera said the passport bro is going to form like Voltron on you. They need to leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? Leave me alone. Go form up like Voltron on them Asian women that keep making TikTok videos about y'all. I ain't making videos about y'all. Don't gang up on me like Voltron. You know what I'm saying? Don't form like Voltron on me. You know what I'm saying? Better form like Voltron on that little Asian girl that keep dragging y'all on TikTok, getting 1 million views off y'all. I ain't getting no damn million views off y'all. You know what I'm saying? So now here it said he told the officer that he would leave, but the officer blocked him when he tried to walk away. Now, here's my question. Is that what it says to do in the protocol book? Don't you love it when that happens, Deneen? Deneen says, why do the police respond to these ridiculous calls when no crime is taking place? Wait, I just answered my own question. I be doing that all the time. Be like, man, where's my glasses at? Man, I can't find them. And then I reach up on my face and they there. Psh, I just answered my own question. You know what I'm saying? I do that with my hat sometimes too. So now here said, after we talked a little more, he said, I'm done with this. Rabowen recalled, and he started grabbing at my arms, and I was kind of flustered and drew back. And he was like, this could get bad for you if you don't comply and do what I say. So he said that to make sure that he had that audio on his body cam. So he grabs my arms and really wrenches them behind my back and proceeds to put me in handcuffs. Caitlin Parody, a bystander, said she saw the situation unfolding and began recording on her cell phone. Footage showed Rabowen speaking to the officer while detained in a patrol car with his hand behind his back. Now, I find it interesting that that's what NBC says, when clearly we just watched the video and there was more footage than just the part with him in the back of the police car. So why would they say this? Why would they say that? That's clearly not an accurate statement. So why would they say that? Why would they do that? A Phoenix Police Department spokesperson told NBC News that bank personnel A Phoenix Police Department spokesperson told NBC News that bank personnel called the police after customers complained Rabowen was approaching them and asking personal questions. Zimmerman wrote in a police report that Rabowen had refused to leave the property or show him identification. If that's the case, then why was Rabowen ultimately let go with no charges filed? You got to ask yourself that question. Facts. If you guys agree with DJ Elmo, give me a thumbs up. The officer didn't look at the IDs because as far as he's concerned, the brother is a prisoner of war being captured. So the only identification necessary for a police officer is your skin. Nothing else matters. Janessa said, you and I do the same thing about our glasses. Yeah, I do that all the time. Where are my glasses at? Oh, I got them right on my face. So all of these post-incident measures that the police claim to put into place, I mean, they're clearly at this juncture in time not working, because if they were working, there would be less of these kind of incidents. But what it seems like is that there's more and more of these kind of incidents as time goes on. So after decades and decades and decades of going through this, decades of the promises being broken, my question is, do we still have an obligation to comply with things as they are today? Because they clearly don't work. They clearly don't work. A spokesperson for Chase Bank said that its officials have apologized to Rabowen directly, but would not comment on the employee's actions. Now, here's the question for you. If Chase didn't do anything wrong, why would the officials have apologized? Are we really going to act like this is just some random situation? Or are we going to start hammering this in that this is an occurrence and start nailing these people down with facts and statistics? One of the reasons why I created the YouTube channels that I have is so that when people say these kind of things don't happen, there's extensive documentation of it happening with multiple sources. Because if you listen to certain media, certain people say that this is all fake news. This is nothing more than woke nonsense, critical race theory, anti-white propaganda. That's what they'll say. Super facts, DJ Elmo. And you can see this happening now. You can see it happening now. And you can also see the political narratives and the political propaganda assisting in ramping up those sentiments. You know what I'm saying? They're helping to lead the charge on the left and on the right. This incident took place in November, and they've just started publishing information about it this month. This is just like the situation with Joe Biden. And I don't know if you guys were aware, but they found even more classified documents that he wasn't supposed to have. But they found those classified documents originally before the midterms, and they're just now getting reported on. So why is the media delivering all of these stories out of chronological order? Seems like nothing is getting reported right when it happens anymore, which is insane, especially with the invention of the internet and social media, and people can instantly post information. How is it that they're suppressing these stories? Tasha Peters asks, so what have the Wall Street journalist or the WSJ said about their employee? That's a great question. Probably nothing. You would think that the Wall Street Journal, if they cared about their employee, and being that it happened to their employee at a financial institution and they're allegedly a financial journalist media outlet, they would do an editorial or an expose on it. You think they did? Absolutely not. Big facts. DeAndre got where I was going with that. So now Tasha just asked this question, and the NPR article has an answer. The NPR article says the Wall Street Journal is asking for answers from the Phoenix Police Department after one of its black reporters was handcuffed and detained shortly after conducting interviews outside of a Chase bank. So now if he was detained, right? If he was detained for trespassing and he wasn't charged with trespassing and he was released, what does that mean? Something took place that wasn't supposed to happen. A couple things took place that wasn't supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? The department said it has launched an internal investigation into the incident, and the city's mayor has apologized to the reporter. Now, look at this. The department has launched an internal investigation. Remember that it told him and the witness was over, but told the news station is still going, and the city's mayor has apologized to the reporter. And remember, Chase also apologized to the reporter. The incident between reporter Dion Rabotin and the Phoenix police officer took place in November, but became public more recently after Phoenix TV station ABC 15 reported on the incident. So I want you guys to understand that if ABC 15 had never reported on this incident, we wouldn't even know about it today. Oh, super facts, DJ Elmo. Super facts. So now you got to, again, ask yourself the question, well, how is it that they just get to keep stories like this silent? How do they get to keep this stuff quiet? How does that work? Carl just said they may give the reporter a smooth 300,000 out of court like DJ Vlad. Super facts. Super facts. We're deeply concerned that Wall Street Journal reporter Dion Rabotin was detained, handcuffed, and placed in the back of a vehicle while reporting, a Journal spokesperson told NPR in a statement. No journalist should ever be detained simply for exercising their First Amendment right. I don't see now, again, this is some suspect stuff right here that the Wall Street Journal is doing, because it says we're deeply concerned that Wall Street Journal reporter Dion Rabotin was detained, handcuffed, and placed in the back of a police vehicle while reporting. Okay, you saw that on video. You know that that's what happened. Shout out to Carla and shout out to Janesta for answering the Nightbot. So you can rest your concerns, right? I don't know why you're sitting there saying that you're concerned about that, because that's a definite. We know that that happened. We saw that happen on the video recording. So now let's move past that. And what's the action and the consequence going to be for this improper use of force? That's the question that the Wall Street Journal should be asking if they actually cared about their employee. But they care about their employee only in the capacity that the employee comes back to work and continues to produce for them. They don't care about the employee in any other fashion, because if they question the treatment of that employee, they're breaking the racial hierarchical code, which is why they phrased that question like that. Otherwise, they would have asked the question properly. They wouldn't have asked a speculatory question about something that we saw visually. That doesn't make any sense. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please make sure you guys take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that bell icon. And also, please share the video to your social media. So now here it says on November 23rd, Rabotin, who is a finance reporter with the Journal based in New York, was detained in a Phoenix police car after conducting interviews about savings accounts outside a Chase Bank. Rabotin was in street clothes because he did not want people to believe he was trying to sell them something, ABC 15 reported. Rabotin was standing outside on a sidewalk, he told ABC 15. Two employees asked him what he was doing and then walked back inside the building. Rabotin said he was unaware the sidewalk in front of the bank was private property and the bank's employees did not ask him to leave. Now, I got to ask you guys a question. Why didn't the Wall Street Journal contact Chase and tell them or ask them, we'd like to conduct a survey with your customers, so just be aware that we're going to have one of our reporters on site. Is that okay? Why didn't the Wall Street Journal communicate that to Chase? If you ask me, the Wall Street Journal is just as liable for putting their employee in a dangerous situation. Hey, we want you to wear street clothes and go to an area where there's a whole bunch of white people and just start asking questions, being big and black with your fro, and nobody's going to give you a hard time. Really? And I'm not trying to be funny, but if that was me, I would have said, these people expect me to be there, right? I'm not going to have any trouble with this, right? And another thing that I would have done is I would have went inside the bank and said, my bosses at the Wall Street Journal told you guys I'm going to be on site conducting interviews with customers leaving and coming out, right? And if they didn't get all of that together, I wouldn't have done the assignment. I don't care. Y'all can fire me if y'all want to. I'll go find a job somewhere else. Get everything in order if you want me to be involved. If you don't want to get everything in order, that's fine. Have somebody else do it. Because now look at the situation we got going on. And now nobody wants to take the blame. The police don't want to be accountable. Chase doesn't want to be accountable. Wall Street Journal wants to act like some heroes. Carlton says the employer was lining him up. It seems to me like that. They didn't really do anything to try to make the situation flow smoothly. You know what I'm saying? DJ almost says, did you notice how the NPR article put quotation marks on Black Wall Street headline? Passive aggressive. Super facts. Shortly after that, a Phoenix police officer arrived on the scene. I saw a police car pull up and the officer came out, walked into the branch, and after about 5 minutes came out and talked to me. So now see, if the police officer had went into the branch and talked to the people at the bank, if the Wall Street Journal had have communicated to the bank, then the bank employees should have told the police officer, no, we spoke to the Wall Street Journal. He's outside on a special assignment. And that should have diffused the situation. But none of the professional entities in this situation did anything that they were supposed to do. The police didn't do what they were supposed to do. Chase didn't do what they were supposed to do. And the Wall Street Journal didn't do what they were supposed to do. And as a result, this reporter, Dion, ended up having to deal with a traumatic situation. Shout out to my man, Steal My Beats. What's good with it, bro? So now here it says, Rabotin told ABC 15 in a recent interview, he asked me what I was doing. I identified myself. I said, I'm Dion Rabotin. I'm a reporter for the Wall Street Journal. Let's see if we could check out this interview. You guys want to watch the interview? Let me see what they got here real quick. If you guys want to watch the interview, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you guys don't, then we won't. But I just found it. All right, let's check out the interview. Cuz I want to hear exactly what this guy said. So here we go.
Tonight, it's about a reporter for the Wall Street Journal who was handcuffed and detained by Phoenix police for trying to interview customers outside a bank for a news story. Now, the bank apologized for what happened, but not Phoenix PD. They're sticking by their officer. It's yet another.
They're sticking by their officer. That's very important. What do you guys think about that? Despite the fact that the mayor of the city apologized, the police are sticking by their officer. Now, remember, there's eyewitness accounts on this. That shows that blue line. That shows that blue wall.
Tonight, it's about a reporter for the Wall Street Journal who was handcuffed and detained by Phoenix police for trying to interview customers outside a bank for a news story. Now, the bank apologized for what happened, but not Phoenix PD. They're sticking by their officer. It's yet another controversial case for a department that, like as we said, is under federal investigation.
So now, again, pay attention to that because they just keep dropping these little nuggets in here that you'd miss it if you didn't break it down like this. Why is this police department already under federal investigation? Did you guys catch that? This police department here is already under federal investigation, but they don't go into why they're under federal investigation. So clearly they have a history of not doing things right. Now, again, remember, the Internal Affairs Department said that they didn't find anything wrong, but clearly they've gone above and beyond the Internal Affairs Department, because what's going on now is that they're under federal investigation. Now, they're not under federal investigation for this particular incident, but clearly something serious happened that's being looked into, because the feds don't just come in for no reason. So what have they been doing down here is the question.
And detained by Phoenix police for trying to interview customers outside a bank for a news story. Now, the bank apologized for what happened, but not Phoenix PD. They're sticking by their officer. It's yet another controversial case for a department that, like as we said, is under federal investigation.
I would leave. I'm not going to give you any chance. You're not giving me a chance for what? I haven't done anything wrong.
It's November 23rd outside a Chase Bank in North Phoenix. And this is Dion Rabowen, a reporter for the Wall Street Journal. So how did he end up in handcuffs?
Yeah, that's a great question. Things really escalated quickly.
We spoke to Dion from his New York office.
See, didn't I tell you guys he talked like that? See, DJ Elmo was like, why you making fun of that, brother? See, I ain't making fun of that, brother. I could tell. I could tell. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all that's how he's up
in handcuffs.
Yeah, that's a great question. Things really escalated quickly.
We spoke to Dion from his New York office, and he walked us through that day.
I was in Phoenix for just some time with my family, and I figured, let me actually get out of the office.
Hey, yo, this brother is like Eddie Griffin on Undercover Brother. Like, do you see this? Like, he's all business casual right here. Like, yeah, I've made myself, I'm presentable to white people here. So, yeah, we can go ahead and have this interview. And, man, outside the bank, he looked like a Grand Theft Auto character. Shout out to this brother for being able to change appearance like that.
Day.
I was in Phoenix for just some time with my family, and I figured, let me actually get out of the office, not talk to these experts, economists, all that. Let me actually go talk to some real people, some folks who actually use the Chase Bank.
While at the bank, on the sidewalk next to the building, he said 2 employees came out, asked him what he was doing. He told them, identified himself. Then they went back inside. And most importantly, Dion says no one asked him to leave. But then police arrived.
Again, identified myself. I said, my name's Dion Rabowen. I'm a reporter for the Wall Street Journal, working on a story, anything like that. I told them, the folks in the branch, what was going on. And he said, well, you can't do that.
Right now, we don't have video of those first several minutes.
If this isn't public property and I don't have the legal right to be here, I'm fine moving. He literally kind of shifted his body to keep me from moving or going anywhere. And then, as we talked a little bit more, he said, you know what, I'm done with this, and starts grabbing me, kind of grabbing at my arms. And I kind of was flustered and sort of drew back. And he was like, kind of, listen, this can get bad for you if you don't comply, if you don't do what I say. And I was like, okay, all right. So he grabs my arms, really kind of wrenches them behind my back, and proceeds to put me in handcuffs.
I heard him say he was going to leave. This is ridiculous.
Shout out to my man, Deformed Pretty Boy. What's good with it, bro?
And it's around that moment when a bank customer who was watching it happen pulled out her phone and started recording.
Like nothing wrong. No, he said he was going to leave. You did not need to cuff him.
Do you think that you were treated the way that you were by the bank, but mostly by police because you're a black guy in street clothes and they just didn't believe that you were a reporter for the Wall Street Journal? I mean, do you think that is a cause here?
That's a good question. And it's interesting because when I got dressed to go to the bank, when I was like, oh, I'm going to go over to the bank. And
I want you guys to pay very close attention to this. This is a situation that is extremely interesting. And I also think that it's extremely sad. But unfortunately, I think the reality is that this is something that you'll see even more. I find it fascinating that the white lady, the white witness, knew exactly what time it was and immediately articulated that to the news, more so than the actual black victim of racism. that might be one of the most important points of the story, because as people continue to listen to nonsense and people continue to downplay politics and people do stupid stuff like attempt to try to be friends and cozy up If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up. I don't know what happened. I think my internet just went out. You know what I'm saying? So give me like 2 seconds. Let me get this back up here real quick. All right, we back. We back. I'm gonna bring it back. I don't know where we ended at, but I'll just put it back right there.
I heard him say he was going to leave. This is ridiculous. He's a reporter, and I heard him say he was going to leave.
And it's around that moment when a bank customer who was watching it happen pulled out her
also
phone
doing
and
literally
started recording.
Like nothing wrong. No, he said he was going to leave. You did not need to cuff him.
Do you think that you were treated the way that you were by the bank, but mostly by police because you're a black guy in street clothes and they just didn't believe that you were a reporter for the Wall Street Journal? I mean, do you think that
So now this was the part that I was talking about right here, where the victim of racism doesn't really understand that he is a victim of racism. But what's crazy is that, you know, the person who's not a victim of racism identified the racism faster than the actual victim of it. And I just checked. Yeah, my internet service provider. Thank goodness your boy. See, this is what the donations do. So shout out to everybody. Make sure you guys show some radiation emoji. My backup internet kicked in because my main internet went out. I have stuff like that because of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all. You know what I'm saying?
That is a cause here.
That's a good question, and it's interesting because when I got dressed to go to the bank, you know, when I was like, oh, I'm going to go over to the bank and do this, I intentionally sort of didn't dress up because I didn't want people to think I was selling something.
As I said to you very clearly, I was never asked to leave.
I'm fine where I am. I'm not doing anything
You
wrong.
want to get arrested as well?
Dion says he really started to worry when the officer asked him to get into the car.
Doesn't mean you're going to jail. I don't want to get into it.
The two went back and forth for a few minutes. Dion didn't want to put his feet in and let the door close.
I didn't trust what was going to happen. I didn't trust, you know, while this young woman is recording, I feel like the odds.
And see, like, I'm not trying to be funny, but like, I want you guys to understand like the confusion. You're leaving your feet hanging outside the police car because you don't trust what's going to happen, but you trusted him enough to restrain you and put you into handcuffs where you can't defend yourself. Look at it. Yeah, facts. Shout out to Deneen. Donations, donations, donations. If it wasn't for your donations, I wouldn't have the backup internet that I can stream with you all with tonight. I say the backup internet that I have that I can stream to you all tonight. I said the backup internet that I have that I'm able to stream to you all with tonight, family.
Of him not doing anything to me, whether that's physically or anything else, are a lot higher.
Because I don't want to have to push you inside the car.
Right, there's no reason for you to push me.
There's no reason for you to put your hands on me.
All you have to, look, if you need to
I have
run,
law, right now, I can.
Sister Deneen says, say it 3 times. I said, Sister Deneen says, say it 3 times. I said, Sister Deneen said, say it 3 times. Sister Shatera with the $4.99 super chat. Sister Shatera with the $4.99 super chat. Sister Shatera with the $4.99 super chat. Now you listening to his ass, you mess around and think that you done got $12. You know what I'm saying? Shatera says for Dion's lineup. Dion looked like he had some fresh cornrows when he got back to the office, though. You know what I'm saying? You know he had to look good for the office assistants and the little secretaries running around there. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at it. I'm not mad at it, bro. Do your thing, Woden. You know what I'm saying? You just got to understand what you're dealing with out here.
Put my hands on you and push you inside.
But why would you want to do that?
About 8 minutes into the recording, more officers show up. Roughly 2 minutes after the backup arrives, Dion is taken out of his cuffs. Now, the Wall Street Journal says that Chase Bank executives apologized directly for what happened. The response from Phoenix PD was different.
I got a call a couple weeks after I reported the incident that they reviewed the body cam footage and that they didn't find anything to be wrong.
In this letter, the Wall Street Journal's editor-in-chief officially complained directly to new Phoenix chief Michael Sullivan and the department's public information.
Look, Mr. Knox said, because we know them white women be choosing. They be choosing a lot. I bet you they chose to go back in and tell the damn police officer that it was his ass outside reporting. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I'm saying? Just keep your head on a swivel. You know what I'm saying? Have your power tools with you. You know what I'm saying?
An office. It began.
Don't say, I'm scared, so I'm going to let you handcuff me, but I'm going to swing my feet out of the police car to protect myself. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That's how, you know, this is what I'm saying. Like, this brother right here, this is a particularly interesting case because the white lady who was the witness knew exactly what time it was, and just boom, this is racism flat out. He beating around the bush. He don't know what's going on. That's crazy.
Quote, I am writing to express my deep concern over the conduct of members of the Phoenix Police Department. It ends. The Journal expects that the Phoenix Police Department will take whatever steps are necessary to ensure that neither Mr. Rabowen nor any other journalist is again subjected to such conduct.
Really could have.
Yeah, I got me laughing so hard. I can't even say what I was about to say. Shout out to Shatera for the for the $4.99 super chat. I was about to do the Umar Johnson voice real quick. Brother, get your eyebrows cleaned up. Brother, get your eyebrows cleaned up. I said, brother, get your eyebrows cleaned up. You know what I'm saying? But this is crazy though, man. And I'm telling you, yeah, I'm not mad at that comment, Deneen. I agree. A lot of cats out there, a little bit, you know what I'm saying, a little bit on the soft side. They wearing secret. Strong enough for a man, but pH balance for a woman. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Come on. You get it together now. Put some bass in your voice. You know what I'm saying? You know, they say that that's toxic masculinity nowadays if you tell somebody to put some bass in your voice. Yeah, I gotta agree, Deformed Pretty Boy. She knew it because they knew they people just like we do. Super facts. It's just that some people say something and other people don't. He lucky that she said something. You know what I'm saying? Because if she hadn't have said nothing, we wouldn't even know about this story. He said the reporter was like, "So you think this happened because you're black?" And he was like, well, see, sitting up there sounding like Phineas and Ferb. Well, you know, well, black, black. Let's talk about it. The white lady said, "Listen, I'm married to a white dude. I know off the rip this wouldn't have happened to my husband. I mean, why can she go on the news and just boom, spit it out like that? And he's like, oh, zoinks, Scoob. You know what I'm saying? Really?
Just ended with me saying, okay, I'll leave. Him saying, all right, great, have a nice day. Or even not something that polite. You know, he could have just pointed me on my way and that would have been it.
And ironically, with a witness now recording.
Man, how do you go from I'm telling you, he went from Michael Beach to Eazy-E. Like he even got the pick sticking out of his fro. But right here, you know what I'm saying? It's yeah, you know, I have my reports and everything ready for the Monday employee meeting, and I think we'll be having some daiquiris on the lunch menu. I couldn't possibly do it. You see, like the way that like how I am right here for YouTube, like this is me. I can't change the way that I am. Shatera says she immediately thought Norbit when I saw him. Facts. People that's on here that have known me for a hot minute, that there's nothing different about this. Is how I am. I've been the same person my entire life. This is how I am in person. This is how I am anywhere you see me. The exact same way, the exact same candidates. You don't like me at a job, you don't like me talking like this, I guess you ain't gonna hire me then. But I'm not about to do all that. I'm not wearing a damn Halloween costume to work every day just for a damn paycheck. You either gonna deal with me being me, or you're gonna find somebody else that can do the job just as good or better than me. I'm not doing all of this makeover stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, see, Shatera will tell you, and Shatera knows. She known me for years. This is me. You know what I'm saying? This is me. I don't know how people do this every day. This kind of stuff right here, when you have to do this kind of quote unquote what they call code switching, that in itself will make somebody have a mental disorder. This will give you an identity crisis right here. You got to go to an office and be all soft-spoken and have your hair all slicked back, wear a tight shirt, your pants all tucked in. You know what I'm saying? Talking, oh, yes, boss, I'll have this on your desk by Monday. Man, are you crazy? I couldn't do it. We'll be having the cherry daiquiris. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't need any daiquiris though. You know, I have a low tolerance. I just give me a little can of Old Duels, and you know, I'll be along my way. I'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? Shatira said that's why these brothers' voices be nasally. Yeah, you get one booger stuck in your nose, it's a wrap. You be talking sounding like a damn flute. It'd be like the damn Yin Yang brothers whistling while you're whistling while you're working. Doot, 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 doot. The boss tell you get this assignment done by Monday. Doot, 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 doot. Doot, 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 doot. Man, ain't no way I'm about to be involved in no damn Disney musical while I'm at work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that'll give you a split personality disorder. Think about this, man. We talk about these superheroes, right? We talk about these superheroes in the comic books, right? You know what I'm saying? Batman go home and be Bruce Wayne. But think about this, though. Every black well, not every black person, many black people that go and work in corporate America, they have a completely different name and different personality for when they at home. Man, that's crazy. I go to work and talk like this, and you know, I have the reports done on Monday, and I have my pants pulled all the way up to my nipples, and cufflinks in place properly, and my hair is brushed, and you know, I have the appropriate amount of waves and glasses, and I'm shaved tightly, and I have a little bit of powder on my face to stop the razor bumps because no true black man can shave with a straight razor, and your face is okay. Walk out of work, tie flying up in the air. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's time to turn up. Man, are you serious? Who can do that? See, like, I can't do that. It's not possible for me to do. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons I do what I do. That's one of the reasons I work how I work, because I can't do that. I will reject this kind of environment. And I have for decades. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? And if you ask me, if more people would reject that kind of pressure, you know what I'm saying? Things would change faster. You know what's funny, Shatira? That's hilarious that you said that. I actually heard people say that before too. Shatira said Shatira said her grandma said never trust a black man with a clean face. I've actually heard that before, man. I forget who somebody was talking about. It was, man, he ain't got no mustache. Cat weird. I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? So now Smoke Mo says, but that office won't allow him to wear his fro BP style. I then bye. Get another job. Do freelance journalism. Start a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of there's a lot of things that quote unquote job won't allow you to do. Think about this. Stephen A. Smith's job won't allow him to actually report news. Think about that. But he still works that job anyway. Why? Let me ask you guys a question. Are these kind of places the only employers? You guys have seen me before. My hair is long as hell. And it ain't going nowhere anytime soon. And I'm not doing nothing special to it if I go somewhere. Because I don't care what those people think. People got to start having a little bit of savagery about them. I'm going to make the rules. You're not going to make the rules for me. Think about this, right? They got this black man all dressed up like a domesticated chihuahua. You know what I'm saying? And you go out west or you go to Texas to these Silicon Valley companies and you got white computer programmers, Asian computer programmers walking around in swimming trunks and sandals in the office. Go to Google. They got wife beaters on. Hair hasn't been combed. They do their work on couches that are their workspaces. But you got to be sitting up here looking like you just rose up from a damn casket. For what? For who? This dude is a journalist, which means that his job is putting words to paper, which means that people only see a Twitter profile of him when he writes an article. This is probably the only time he's ever been live or did recorded video content. So why is your presentation important? We just came out of the post C19 era where Zoom was the largest workplace. Shatira said most black people just get their hair braided or lock it. Companies that don't accept that should be sued. I agree. Because they can wear spikes, they can wear crazy mullets, you know what I'm saying? They can do whatever the heck they want to do. They can actually wear their hair in the styles that our hair is natural in, and somebody would give them a compliment and be like, oh, that looks so cool, it looks so retro, it looks so different. And you're looking at us saying that we're ratchet or we're ghetto or we're stereotypical. You're so unique. Oh, look at those cornrows. Did you come from Jamaica? Buy a couple slaves while you were down there? Like, seriously? You know how you start defeating this kind of stuff? You do whatever you want to do and you be the best at it. So they don't have any choice. If what you want to do is work in a corporate America or work in a corporate setting, you be the best. You dominate your field of expertise to the point to where it's a detriment to the company to not let you do what you want to do rather than them let you go as an employee. And then you can make your own rules. You know what I'm saying? You make your own rules. If you're Michael Jordan, nobody's really going to tell you what to do, because if you stop showing up, then the wins stop coming. Look at all of the people who had this kind of job, right? Michael Dell used to work for a computer company. He didn't like what they were saying, so he decided to come up with his own computer company. Sam Walton used to work for a wholesale retailer. He didn't like how they were doing business. He tried to implement his ideas to the business, and the business didn't accept it. So he went on and started Walmart and Sam's Club. Bill Gates came up with DOS and Microsoft Windows, and IBM didn't want to buy it. So he did his own thing. One thing that people got to stop doing is stop looking for a one-dimensional way to make the bread and butter. People got to have a domination mindset. I don't know if you guys watch Breaking Bad, but when Heisenberg became the best manufacturer and distributor, he said it. Take over the market, raise the price. That should be your mind state with everything that you do. I'm going to take over the job and demand a higher pay rate. I'm going to become the best person doing this and demand a higher pay rate and more benefits. I'm going to become the best. I'm going to dominate and demand. D&D. Everybody likes double D's. D&D. Dominate and demand. Yeah, that's facts, deformed pretty boy. Nowadays, people wearing their hair however they want to, and they tat it up. It used to be a big deal though back in the day. And honestly, they started, if you ask me, at least in my experience, when it comes to like corporate America or when it comes to the employment space, they were more accepting of tattoos before they were accepting of things like cornrows or things like dreads or things like having a fro, which is really weird. But again, I don't think it's a thing of acceptance at all. If you ask me, I think it's a show of power. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something to think about.
Pointed me on my way, and that would have been it.
And ironically, with a witness now recording, that's almost exactly how it ended.
We don't, as journalists, want to be the story. We want to report the story.
So now here's my question, right? If the officer allowed him to go, then what is it that the Phoenix Police Department is backing the officer on? What could they possibly be backing him on? If they're backing him on the fact that he committed a crime, then why isn't he in custody and being charged? So we have to ask that question. What are they backing him on? Shatira said, just do like Gen X and be totally unbothered. Super facts. Just do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? Do your own thing and be happy with it. More and more people need to start doing that. Josh just said, look at him looking goofy as hell. Leave, Negro. That's how your mom do it. Mom would have grabbed him up by his throat. Boy, get your ass over here. No, okay, officer. Man, go on somewhere. Man, you better get out of there. You know what I'm saying?
But I think it's important to talk about this because of everything we've talked about. You know, this is a department that's under DOJ investigation for excessive force, that's under investigation for the way that they operate and the way they handle business. And despite that, they continue to operate this way. And
Late today, Phoenix sent us an incident report, and the officer claims that Dion initially refused to identify himself and that there was probable cause to arrest him for third-degree trespassing. We also requested the body camera video, but it hasn't been released yet.
They requested the body cam video, but the body cam video has not been released yet. So now my question to you guys is, what do you guys think about this? I agree, Deneen. The DOJ doesn't care. Super facts. And pay very close attention to who's the president, because when that time comes, you know what I'm saying? You know, we're going to have to press about this. Smoke Mo says, I know they hit dude with the fit the description line or suspicious person. Facts. I agree, bro. If you guys agree with Smoke Mo, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree 100%. And I agree with Tasha. They're lying about the entire thing. Carlton said that body cam video is getting a Hollywood edit before we see it. Facts. It's going to have Eddie Murphy and Dave Chappelle, you know what I'm saying, and all kinds of people running across it. Samuel L. Jackson. And then they're going to end up showing him. You'll be like, what's this? This is like a damn VHS tape. It's going to be all messed up. It's going to be outside of PNC instead of the body cam going to show the incident taking place outside of PNC instead of Chase. It's going to have a little lady in the beginning holding up the torch and the universal sign. You know what I'm saying? The Columbia pictures. The little boy going to be riding the bike across the moon. It's going to get the Hollywood edit before the actual tape comes out. You know? But this is what happens. And what, in my opinion, is one of the unappreciated jewels of this story is that, again, this is the world that we're living in, where a grown black man is not able to identify himself in a situation as a victim of racism before a white witness is able to. What does that show about the societal brainwashing that's going on? That BLERD found out the hard way that the world is correct. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers. Make sure you're subbed up to my other social media and my backup channels, and I will catch you all on the next video. All right? Peace.